In a world that is ever evolving, one thing that has remained consistent is the industry of moving products. As artificial intelligence, automation, and other advanced technologies begin to seep into our daily lives, the industry of trucking has continued to illustrate the need for human touch. Trucking is inherently a people business. The vast majority of the nation's freight is moved by trucks, translating to an $800 billion industry. Moving freight from point A to point B is an elaborate process that requires dozens of touch points for safe, efficient delivery. Hundreds of people follow through on essential functions that ultimately lead to the delivery of our everyday products. Since our humble beginning in 1977, Mercer Transportation has grown to be a well-respected carrier in the ever-evolving supply chain. With over 2,300 owner-operator drivers, a staff of 300 employees, and 100 independent agent offices across the U.S. and Canada, we haven't lost sight of what's really the lifeblood of the industry: people. Mercer Transportation is in the business of moving one more load safely. We've worked hard over the years to build a reputation of having higher standards, quality processes, and a welcoming culture. Communicating that message both on and offline has been tasked to the people in our marketing department. Housed over in Building 8, this team of creatives uses a multitude of tools ranging from video equipment to advanced design software to illustrate the Mercer brand. Our goal is to engage with everyone, from existing employees to prospective owner-operators. They are responsible for the representation of our identity across many mediums, including print ads, web activity, and even satellite radio spots. They leverage storytelling to help bring in new people while building up the culture of our current community. Marketing is a vital piece of the puzzle that brings brand awareness to prospective employees and drivers, which is why they work so closely with our recruiting department. Our team of recruiters is tasked with being knowledgeable enough to field a variety of questions that both newly hired and prospective drivers may have about our onboarding and operational processes.
Once we come in, we'll kind of go through our leads. We'll have new leads generated each day. We'll kind of look, see where the guy's out of. At that point, we will make a call, kind of go over Mercer, what we have to offer, see if they are interested in coming over. If they are, at that point we will get them an application. They would submit their application online with us. Once we get it here, we'll call them, kind of run over it, make sure everything looks compliant on the application. At that point, we will send it back to qualifications. Where qualifications, they do the employment verifications, run all the reports. At that point, if everything looks good, we work on getting paperwork, truck titles, pictures of the truck, things of that sort, and then we send it over to safety. Once we get the guys approved, we'll get them on the schedule to come into orientation. We run them here in Louisville, Kentucky every Monday and Wednesday, and it's about a 1 to 2 day process.
A single recruiter will answer up to 60 phone calls from prospective drivers inquiring about the business of Mercer. A typical call may cover a variety of subjects ranging from the types of load offerings to payment methods to Mercer's fuel discounts. Periodically, our recruiters will even travel from state to state, visiting truck shows to build brand awareness in the driver community. The people who make up this department work hard together to make sure we're bringing in drivers who are aligned with the values of Mercer and will keep us as one of the top trucking companies in the nation. Even when our recruiting department has found a prime candidate, though, the onboarding process has just begun. From there, a prospective driver must meet all our eligibility requirements before they can be considered part of the Mercer team.
Once the file gets to driver qualifications,
We run their criminal history and we send them through clearinghouse.
we run the driver's license, we check the motor vehicle records, we check the criminal history.
We check their previous 3 years of employment.
Once we get all of that together, we put together a quick summary for safety.
And then once we do all of that, we send it back to the recruiter. They'll send it to safety and then we'll accept or reject the driver.
The good people over in driver qualifications use state-of-the-art software to review a driver's history and help make a knowledgeable decision to bring that driver in. That same robust software comes a shared network that holds the driver's records as they pull freight across their lifetime. Oftentimes, the qualification specialist will have to make several phone calls to verify some of the more obscure companies out there. It's important that we exhaust every resource to verify the validity of a driver's past. Being just down the hall, DQ works in tandem with our safety and associate directors to ensure that we're getting the best candidates coming in. On average, we reject around 75% of all the applicants as they don't meet our stringent criteria. These people are the final decision makers. They are the ones responsible for ensuring implementation of our rigorous onboarding practices. Our standards far exceed that which is necessary to most of our competitors. Our directors work cooperatively, creating and implementing a system of checks and balances that are easily communicated to everyone to create the environment that sets both their staff and the driver up for success. Their uncompromising standards mean that if you're pulling freight for Mercer, you're absolutely one of the best. With people being at the forefront of everything that we do, forming relationships with customers is something that comes as second nature to our agents at Mercer Transportation. With over 100 different independent sales agents across the U.S. and Canada, we've been able to book loads across many industrial markets that help keep the country moving. Our agents live and work in the areas they serve, so they are well connected and understand their market's needs. In fact, 23 of our current agents have been developed at the Louisville campus, but have moved abroad to better serve their market. Our independent agents produce 95% of all Mercer's customer-generated revenue, making them an extremely vital piece to our financial ecosystem. Our agents are able to operate at such a level with the help of our internal sales team. The director of sales leads their team of seasoned veterans to cultivate and maintain new business. These representatives in Building 5 are the first step in creating relationships with new clients. From cold calling to canvassing, their tactics for contacting, vetting, and acquiring new customers are always evolving. They lean on their expertise of the market to choose the best businesses of each territory. The forming of new relationships may take anywhere from a day to several years, so they are constantly nurturing and reassessing any contacts they've made. These salespeople are responsible for finding the delicate balance of satisfaction between the client, the agent, and the driver. Our sales agents are often assisted at the local and national level by our freight operations department. This team works tirelessly to assist in building lasting relationships with customers and getting those loads on the load board.
The reason it's important to grow our customer base is because of diversity. At any time, a customer's economic situation can change, and if you have a diverse customer base, then if you lose one customer, you won't be as hurt as if you had only invested in one or a few customers. One of the greatest strengths when I was working in LK3 is that we had a very diverse customer base. We had our major customers, but we also had plenty of smaller ones. And we found that whenever you spent the time to develop those smaller ones, that they matched the amount of income that your larger customers produced.
They work together to creatively find new business while also collaborating with other departments to cover existing routes. They exhaust every resource from Google Maps to business journals to canvassing to grow our customer base and fill out our load board. Even after the loads are booked, picked up, and delivered, the freight operations team is still developing relationships for future endeavors. Once a load is acquired, it's entered into our proprietary TMS software that offers all our available loads to a driver within 8 minutes of booking. Acquiring new business and new drivers is quite the feat, but managing to get them on the road and moving is another set of skills from some more dedicated people. Once a driver has passed our rigorous qualifications process, they are invited to the Louisville campus for orientation. Building 5 houses the classrooms where drivers will spend their next few days learning the culture of Mercer. In class, a multitude of topics are covered, from Mercer's in-house processes to procedures that will keep drivers in compliance with our higher standards. Whether it's with a veteran Mercer driver or a truck operations manager, a new driver will have the opportunity to ask questions and share ideas with a variety of our staff. As a driver is being acclimated to the Mercer way, their truck is being put through an incredibly thorough inspections process. After the inspection, a driver may be required to have an ELD installed, a dash cam linked to our network, or even simple repairs made to have them meet our safety requirements. On campus, back in Building 8, we have a company store that houses all the necessary supplies, from straps, tarps, and dash cams to fasteners, hard hats, and gloves.
Well, once a new driver has spoken with their recruiter and truck operations, I am sent their equipment list. I give them a call, get their payment information, type it on up, and send it to the warehouse. And then once they are ready for their equipment, my warehouse guys will deliver it to their truck, or they can come pick it up.
Drivers that are less familiar with pulling open deck trailers are asked to complete a 3-day refresher course on securement, again, with safety as the leading catalyst throughout the training. Once a driver has been brought up to speed, our trailer department will step in, and they'll then be issued a step deck, van, or flatbed trailer. If a driver doesn't have their own trailer, we'll help assess their needs and work with them to provide one that suits their business plan. A driver will complete their onboarding process by signing their lease and receiving their permit book from our permits department, finally making it legal to operate under Mercer's authority. Millions of loads are moved across the country each year. As it stands, Mercer on average moves more than 250,000 loads annually. Our trailers have been loaded with everything from military equipment and heavy machinery to concert stage equipment and shoes. We've hauled freight for some of the largest corporations in America, both safely and efficiently. Virtually anything that's hauled by a big truck, Mercer has pulled it at one point or another. Over in truck operations, our coordinators are hard at work, interpreting the information that's being offered on our load board. They consult with drivers to develop a plan that suits the driver's needs while also meeting the customer's expectations.
So when a driver first starts, we're supposed to call them and introduce ourselves and kind of get a feel for what they want to do and how they want to run. And then once we get a feel for that and they're cleared with everything, we set them up a preference, which is the parameters that they kind of want us to stay in, and we try and find them a load out. And then throughout the process, we kind of get to know each other. So that way, if he doesn't answer the phone or there's a load that I think he would want that we wouldn't get him if I called him because it takes too long, I can just accept him on it. I mean, we kind of just build a relationship to where we know, like, we're a team.
The coordinators use maps, weather tracking tools, and various types of computer software to be knowledgeable allies to drivers who want that type of advice. When a driver chooses their load and heads to the shipper, a myriad of important functions are taking place back on campus. Mercer has been able to maintain our reputation of safety by always prioritizing compliance. Back in Building 8, the logs department works to ensure that drivers are operating under our stringent safety protocols. They're knowledgeable on how equipment like ELDs and dash cams work and help monitor daily activities. They are the second set of eyes that keeps drivers from running into hours of service issues, as well as being a litigious safety resource by monitoring and maintaining video evidence of accidents, hard stops, and even close calls. Compliance isn't always a hardware and equipment related issue either. Part of our qualifications team is dedicated to monitoring information on a driver's CDL status and keeping them legal on the road. Anytime something appears out of place, the safety director is notified, as compliance is the foundation of our achievements in safety. With over 200 million miles traveled annually, accidents are bound to happen. Freight is going to shift on a trailer. Shippers are going to load products incorrectly. When these things happen, our claims department in Building 8 is here to help drivers, shippers, and agents find solutions to these challenging problems. They are the first in line to accept phone calls from drivers when the unexpected happens. They are available 24 hours a day to be a knowledgeable touch point for drivers who are concerned about how a product is loaded, have a cargo claim, or have been in an accident.
We deal with a lot of accidents and cargo, and the best thing we can do is get the driver to call us as quick as possible. We can help him through all the steps of getting the estimate sent to the insurance and everything for him, help him out in any way we can so that way he can be back on the road quicker.
Risk management works closely with our safety department to make policies that help mitigate unnecessary risk, helping us maintain years of moving loads safely and efficiently. We house our own drug and alcohol screening facility in Building 8 as well. We have the ability to do all of our pre-employment and random drug testing on site, making it extremely simple for a driver to get it squared away while they're on campus. We also go the extra mile to find a screening facility on the road. Whether a driver is in the middle of a load or at home for the weekend, we'll call around to find the best solution for our driver to remain safe and compliant. Along with commercial clients, we also have an operations team that is dedicated to booking and moving military freight. Our government operations department deals in loads that require high security clearance, specific instructions, and special communications. This team has an extensive knowledge of cybersecurity and use specialized computer equipment as they are communicating across a highly sensitive network dealing with military loads. With the Department of Defense being one of our largest accounts, it's crucial that we take every step in keeping our drivers, network, employees, and freight as safe and secure as possible. We are proud that within our fleet, we have many veterans spanning across multiple generations. We are honored to be doing our part in every way that we can. As a show of gratitude, the Mercer family of contractors, employees, and agents have donated over $400,000 to various first responder and military charities. When some of our book freight tips the scale, our over-dimensional department, or more commonly called OD permits, steps in to make the run legal. They understand the varying city and state guidelines and use software to assist in choosing a route that allows for high, wide, and heavy loads to run safely and legally. Sometimes, it's as easy as providing the driver with the permit for the route, while others may call for a route survey and an escort car. We actually move an average of 50 OD loads per day, making Mercer one of the most versatile trucking companies in the nation. While Mercer has a diverse fleet of over 2,300 drivers, 25% of our loads are moved by brokering them to outside carriers. Our brokerage department spearheads this responsibility and is broken down into smaller teams to help qualify, track, and coordinate broker carriers in a streamlined and timely manner.
I think the biggest component on how they're able to work as fast as they do is communication. Our carrier coordinators are talking to carriers, booking freight, and then if it's a company that's not set up, they're then talking to qualifications and getting that carrier contract sent out and insurance updated. So communication is definitely the biggest key on how we're able to move freight and set up carriers fastly and efficiently.
Just as we do with our contractors, we put our brokers through a stringent qualifying process to ensure that the people that we work with have aligned values and standards. The brokerage department is responsible for finding new carriers to do business with, covering available loads, and maintaining a lasting relationship with anyone who can meet our standard of integrity, service, and safety. They use a wide variety of methods to execute on their goals, from cold calling new brokers to tracking software to monitor loads to even traveling the nation, frequenting truck shows to drive business. Once a driver has safely delivered their load, acquired a delivery receipt, and scanned it into Mercer's billing department, the payment process can begin. Imaging is here to ensure that when a driver turns in their bills of lading, our record of the transaction is clear and legible.
Here in the imaging department, we rely on good, clear, and clean images because the records that we hold for 10 years. We rely on having good, clean copies, complete documentation. This is not only for settlements, this is for customer records, this is possibly for any legal reasons if we have claims come back through or another customer audit. Trying to verify what was sent and received between locations.
This department receives delivery receipts from drivers in many forms, ranging from being mailed in, to scanned in the TransFlow, to receiving a picture taken by a cell phone. It's imperative that we are able to maintain a clear copy, so they are tasked with telling a driver what to look for and find a process that works for them as well. Once we have good copies of the receipts, the rating department has to research and approve the final rate, fuel, and accessorial charges. They are in constant communication with multiple touch points, from the customers to the agents to the rest of the billing department. They are the checks and balances that ensure that the details are correct for invoicing and truck pay. Working hard to accommodate everyone involved, while they make sure that we're all following the appropriate guidelines, it's important to how we're able to maintain relationships built on integrity with shippers and drivers. We have the bills of lading, we have the approved rates, and now it's finally time to get the driver paid. This responsibility belongs to Truck Pay. They use a combination of software applications to calculate both driver pay and truck deductions. When drivers have questions about what they see on their final statement, these knowledgeable people are here to field phone calls and resolve issues.
Our main objective is to pay the driver within 24 hours of receiving paperwork. When the driver initially submits their paperwork, it takes about 40 minutes to an hour for imaging to receive it. Once they receive it, they review the bill of ladings, make sure all the signatures are there, sign off on it, and then it goes to the billing queue. Once the billing department receives it, they bill out the load, and then it comes to us for settlement, in which we release the driver's pay.
They manually research any discrepancies in pay and communicate with every department to ensure accuracy, as they are the final step in checks and balances before payments are finalized. Mercer, being a people-first company, understands that transportation is a cash flow business, especially for a single driver or small fleet. Thus, Mercer prioritizes paying drivers as quickly as possible, sometimes within 4 hours. The process of covering expenses, buying fuel, and heading to the next load is a familiar cycle for our drivers. Fuel is the lifeblood of the transportation industry. Delivering 250,000 loads annually requires an ample amount of fuel. Our drivers alone account for 2.1 million gallons being used on a monthly basis. If fuel is the blood pumping through Mercer's veins, our IT department is in charge of our nervous system. Every secure transaction, every piece of hardware that we use, and every load visible through our TMS software is made possible by the infrastructure that this department manages.
Vulnerable networks can cause damage to your systems. You could lose data, you could have data leaks, you could have a network down to where you can't even work. What's best is to pay attention to all phishing emails or malicious links. If you have any links that you suspect are suspicious, get with your IT professional team. You don't want to lose any data, you want to work the best you can.
These people are not only tasked with keeping our network safe, but they are also masters of troubleshooting daily issues, ranging from preparing new employees' equipment to correcting full systems not communicating with one another. They are the unsung heroes that make all our jobs simpler. The Credit and Collections Department is working to manage new, existing, and former customer accounts using a myriad of software and outside services to organize it all. Before we take on a new customer, we have a sophisticated process to assess their creditworthiness and integrity. Although an algorithm is assisting in the decision making, it ultimately comes down to our specialists to evaluate whether or not a customer will be a good fit for us. Just as we have high standards for our drivers, that extends to the customers we work with as well. And because we have taken such precautions on the front end, our collections department has a far simpler task on the back end. When we do need to make contact for an unpaid invoice, this team is here to make payment arrangements and follow up with the solution. Once we receive payment, an accounts manager will assess the line sheet, apply the payment, and close out the account. They collaborate with many other departments to ensure that all our accounts have been cleared and closed. Our accounting department is the final set of checks and balances for the entire company. They are in charge of managing all the company expenses to keep our campus operations going. They are in constant contact with many of the departments to ensure that all the books are accurate and can be accounted for. They make sense of the numbers as they come in from so many separate sources. From paying utilities to managing vendor contracts, they are the people who speak the financial language of daily operations. The look and feel of our buildings and 27-acre campus is maintained by our facilities department. These people are responsible for using their expertise in handiwork to provide Mercer with a safe, visually engaging environment. They have an evolving set of responsibilities around campus. From assisting in staging our truck show setup to clearing the lots in the winter, their contributions are vast and always changing. With over 15 buildings to manage, this team is always on the move. Keeping our beautiful campus safe and secure is a responsibility that belongs to our security department. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they are monitoring over 120 cameras pointed at almost every inch of the Louisville campus. Our security team prides themselves in resolving issues proactively by not only being a visible presence on campus, but also helping build community by nurturing our relationships with first responders and community outreach. They are pleasant, caring people with the skills to react quickly when necessary. They are vital in reassuring everyone's comfort as they come to campus to do their part in moving freight. Mercer Transportation is a nationally recognized, award-winning business that over a span of 45 years has evolved from a small operation to one of the largest, most respected carriers in the country. When a driver shows up at a shipper with a Mercer sign on the side of their equipment, they're showing up representing a legacy of integrity, service, and efficiency. Their trucks aren't just being powered by fuel, but also the hard work of hundreds of agents and employees. They are the people who are dedicated to making the complex processes simple. The successful operation of Mercer Transportation is made possible by the efforts and dedication of many dynamic, spirited people. Quote, "If everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself." Our goal has always been to empower everyone to become the best version of themselves, from contractors to agents to employees. We, as a company, pride ourselves in providing all the tools necessary so that our family will continue to grow and thrive. Thus, Mercer has built its foundation on the key ingredient to any successful business: people.